All right, everybody. So welcome to this quick review. Oh, I see a typo here already. A review, but it's really review on how to calculate grades and GPAs. I created this video so that you'd be able to do your homework and be able to understand the formula for calculating your grades, but then also so that you would be able to do so every report period and be able to understand exactly what you need to earn on certain uh, formative or summative assessments along the way in your classes. So let's just jump straight into it. First, you have to remember that formative grades have a weight of 30%. So basically, to multiply a formative grade, you need to take that number, which you'll see in a second, and multiply by 0.30 on your calculator, which is 30%. And summative grades have a weight of 70%. So to multiply a summative grade, you're going to take that number and multiply it by 0.70 on your calculator. Formative grades are grades in classes like maybe homeworks or classwork assignments. Your summative grades are quizzes, tests, benchmarks, which are coming up, things of that nature. So the first step to calculating your grades is you need to add the formative grades together, divide by the number of formative grades, and then multiply by the weight of the formative grades. There's 3 steps to this whole process. This is just the first step, focusing on formative. So add, divide, multiply. Remember that. Add, divide, multiply. Let's see it in action. Well, actually, I'm sorry. I'm going to go through all the steps first, and then we'll see it in action. So the first step is adding, dividing, multiplying the formative grades. The second step is adding the summative grade, dividing the summative grade, and multiplying the weight of the summative grades. So add the summative grades together, divide by the number of summative grades, and then multiply by the weight of the summative grade. Okay? The third step in the process is to then add the formative and summative grades together. So just in a quick review, first we do these 3 steps we add, divide, and multiply for the formative grades. We add, divide, and multiply for the summative grades. And then we add the formative and summative grades together. So let's go through the first one, which is formative. Here's an example right here. We add the formative grades together. So let's say this student earned a 65, 80, 77, 90, 100. We add all of these grades together and we get the number 412. Then we divide by the number of formative grades. So we see here we have I didn't mean to go forward. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 formative grades. So we're taking the 412 and we're dividing by 5 because there's 5 formative grades. And then we get the number 82.4. But we have to remember that we're not done yet because we haven't multiplied by the weight of that formative grade. So because the grades are formative, we then multiply by 0.30, which is 30%, and we get this number 24.72. Step 1 is now complete. Step 2 is doing the same process, but now with the summative grades. So we're going to add the summative grades together. So in this situation, the student has 85, 90, 75, and 65. So the total is 315. Then we divide by the number of summative grades. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 summative grades. 315, which is our total here, divided by the number of summative grades. And once again, I apologize for the typo. This should be 4. So we divide by the number 4. My apologies. Don't lose me. It's 78.75. Okay? So we multiply by the weight of the summative grades last. Because the grades are summative, we multiply by 0.70, which is 70%. We take 78.75, we multiply that by 0.70, and we get 55.13. I'm just going to close this down for a second because this is bothering me that I have this mistake. So let me fix that real quick if you guys can see it. All right. Take it a step back. Okay. We added the summative grades. Okay. Now, the third step is adding the formative and summative grades together. So we have 24.72, which was our formative grade, and our 55.13 summative grade, which gives us 79.85. Most people will, if you put this in a grade book, it'll be rounded up to an 80. So 80% is the grade. All right, let's give it a try. Here are some formative and summative grades. Why don't you go ahead and pause this video right now and go back and apply the steps that you just learned. Okay, adding, dividing, and multiplying for formative and doing the same thing for summative. When you're ready, just play the video again and we'll get started. So go ahead and give that a try. All right, assuming that you tried that out, let's see what the process looks like for these grades. So I wrote this out for you. Formative grades. We took all of the formative grades that were listed, 80 plus 85, 76, 89, 95, 65, and 92. We added them all together and we got 582. And I took that 582, divided it by 7 because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 grades, got 83.14. We're not finished yet. We have to take that 83.14 and multiply it by 30% because it's a formative grade, and then we get 24.94. We did the same thing for the summative portion. We took the 80 plus the 88 plus 85 and 90, we got 343. We took the 343 and we divided by 1, 2, 3, 4 summative grades. We got 85.75. And then we took that number and multiplied it by 0.70 because it's a summative grade, and we got 60.2. We took the formative grade, which is a 24.94, and we added it to the summative grade, which is a 60.02, and we have 84.96, which is our actual grade. Now, what about this situation? Let's suppose you earned the following grades in the class: an 85, an 8, a 96, and a 19. We just can't add the 8 and the 19 to the 85 and the 96 because they're not on the same scale. They're not on a 100-point scale. The 85 and the 96 are out of 100, so there's no conversion necessary for those two. 85 and 96, good to go. But the 8, however, is out of 10. And you can figure this out from your teacher's grade book, or you can ask them. And the 19 is out of 25 in this situation. So we have to first convert the grades so they can be on the same scale as the 85 and 96. In order to do that, we have to do a little bit of do some math. We have to divide the 8 by the possible points, which is 10. 8 divided by 10 is 80. 80 is on that 100-point scale. And then we take the 19 and we divide it by 25, and we get, should be 92. 92 is on that 25-point scale. I just noticed another typo. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that right while you are watching. So give me 1 second. I take my 19 and I divide it by 25, and that's 76 actually. All right, so let me go ahead and change that to 76. And 76 now is on our 100-point scale. So now these numbers can be added together. This would be 85 plus 80 plus 96 plus, instead of the 19, it would be 76. And that's how we would get them all on the same page. So what does that look like played out? Well, let's give it a try. Here's some numbers. This are the formative grades, and this is the summative grades. So go ahead and pause the video and give this a try. All right, so I'm assuming that you tried the conversion. Let me go ahead and show you what it looks like. My first step, whenever I see something that needs to be converted, is to convert those numbers first. So in that situation, we saw for the formative grades, the 8 and the 23 needs conversion. Needs to be converted. I take the 8 is actually out of 10, so that's now converted to an 80. And then I took the 23, which is actually out of 25, so that is now a 92. So we rewrite it: 80 plus 85 plus 76 plus 89 plus 95 plus 92 equals 517. We take 517 and we divide it by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Same process. we get 86.16, and then we multiply that by 30% because it is a formative grade, and that's our formative number. We do the same thing for summative, except that 7, let me take you back here, this 7 can't exist. It's not on the same scale. So we take that 7, and we convert it to 7D, because 7 out of 10 is 70. So we have 70 plus 88 plus 85 and 90 is 333, divided by 4, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 grades. 83.25 is that answer. And we multiply it by 70% because it's a summative grade, and we get 58.27. Ultimately, we have 25.85 plus 58.27, which means the student's grade is at 84%. So this is an additional couple of steps, a little bit more of a lengthy process, still worth it so that you can calculate your grades and know where you're at throughout the year. As I mentioned in class, I am going to encourage teachers to use the 100-point scale for everything so that we can all be on the same page. That's pretty much it. Make sure you go back and rewatch any portion of this that maybe was a little bit too quick for you. This video is available to you for your use. Make sure you do the 3 examples that I'm posting on Google Classroom for you.